Hello, Robert and Raman and Hama. Since I won't get to see you before Christmas break, I'm just recording this video to give you some feedback, mainly on your parts that you modeled here, and just to give you, your personal feedback on that, so you know how to improve it. Because after Christmas break, you will have had to email me all your parts, and I don't want you to make the same mistakes that you made on these parts on your second iteration. Okay, so in the email, here's the grading for your project 2 that I've done so far. Your concept sketching, you got a 6 out of 7. Your part modeling, you did pretty well on. Now, the main thing you didn't do well was that what you actually modeled in Inventor didn't actually work. So you got a 3 out of 10 on how effective your first design was. And there's my comments there. But this YouTube video is to give you feedback for this part, which I'll do now. Okay, so let's look at some of these different parts. Okay, now just to be clear, I'm not talking about the design of it, right? There were different reasons why the design of this wasn't good, but I'm just talking about how the parts were modeled. Okay, so here's the things I'm checking for in this part of the grade for the part modeling method. Okay, you got 11 out of 12. Here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to come and look and see, are all your sketches defined? Okay, yes, you have the dimensions defined there, you've extruded it. Okay, one problem here, notice this dimension is not defined, right? It's still black here. I can move this. You have not actually defined this length. Okay, so that's not good. Notice if I move that, this updates. So you need to define dimensions for that rectangle there. Okay, so that's one thing not done correct. This is good. You've made or I think you tried to. You tried to make that circle in the center. I think it moved since I changed the dimension, but yeah. And then, okay, here's another thing that's not done well, is the location of this hole is not defined. Notice I can still move it, okay? So if I move it like that, well, that changes the location of the hole. So all your sketches need to be fully constrained. Well, you could constrain this by putting a construction line here, making this on top of that, and then adding a dimension here and telling me whatever dimension you want. Now it's fully constrained, and that is a better sketch. Okay, so that's the main thing I'm showing, is you need to fully constrain your sketches. On this one, overall you've done well. You made this first extrusion, then that. Okay, so alright, that's a solid piece. You've done well there. You mirrored it. What I would do is I would wait to mirror until you actually make these holes. Okay, because notice you have to do one mirror to make this solid, and then down here you had to do other mirrors in order to actually mirror the holes over. Okay, so you had to do another mirror to mirror the holes. Now, one other thing is, in your design intention, this hole should be the same diameter as that hole, but in the way that you've modeled it, they're not linked together. So for example, if I go change this diameter, I don't know, let's say I change it to 5. That one changes, but that one is still the same. Okay, so that's not a good method of modeling. You should use, if I were you, I would just use a variable, and I don't know, call this pin diameter. And whatever, what did you have, 7.8 maybe? I can't remember what you had. Pin diameter. Okay, that's good. Now, when you come to making this other extrusion here, when you actually add in this dimension, you just type in pin diameter. Okay, and now they're linked, right? Okay, so that's some things that you should have done better on that one. Let's see about this one. Okay, that sketch is fully defined. This one looks defined. That's good. Yeah, that one you've made it in the center. It's very good. You gave fillet, camphor. Okay, again, this location of that hole is not defined, so you need to do that. And then you've done a fillet. Okay. Yeah, so just make sure you define the location of that hole. This, if I remember, I think you did a pretty good job. Okay, you've made this extrusion. Yes. You did a good job on the sweep. Yeah. You mirrored it and then a cut. Yeah. Now just remember, on the design of this, as we talked about, this is way too small. Make that much bigger or much thicker. Okay, that cross section there is too small. Okay. The base. So I'm just checking. Yes, that's good. That's defined. You mirrored. Yes. Now again. Yeah, that's good. Okay, is the location of your hole. Okay, you have defined it, yeah. And then you mirrored. So you did a good job of mirroring this hole with this hole so that they're linked. Okay. And then the ball holder, the only thing that you haven't done well is some of these sketches are not, they're useless sketches and you can delete them. Okay. So notice you have some useless sketches there that aren't being used. Okay. Sketch 3, for example. Okay. Yeah, but other than that, let's see if your design intention. Okay, you've done this. You did the whole fillet. Okay, very good. It's mirrored, so this one's linked to that one, and you also linked this to that. And is the location of this defined? Let's check. Yes, the location is defined. Very good. Okay. So it looks like you've done well.